School is great for a lot of things. You get to socialize, you get to make friends, and create memories that'll last a lifetime. But when you're older and in the real world, having the periodic table of elements memorized or knowing Old English doesn't really help us with managing our finances. Learning how to be independent, figuring out what we actually want to do with our lives. Over the years, I've spoken to an incredible range of highly successful people, and I've learned so many lessons that I wish I would have learned sooner. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 7 of these very lessons that I wish I would have learned in school. The F is actually okay. In school, if you get the big F on your page, you failed. You lost. You're a loser. Not really how life works. Failure can actually be something so good for our lives that if we utilize it to build success, the act of failing is getting us closer and closer to winning. Failure is something that in school they teach you, you can't do this except this one way. And if you don't do it this way, you fail. But in life, it doesn't work that way. You try different things. You build different things. You fail often. Failing often is actually something that will pay great dividends later in our lives. I did not learn this lesson in school. I was petrified of the F, and the reality is that F is actually something that can take you so far in life if you get comfortable with it. The next lesson is personal growth is actually more important than professional growth. Now, how can that be? If the goal is to be successful, how can we focus more about ourselves and on ourselves than our career? Well, the reality is the personal growth will make you better at your career. I wish I would have learned that focusing on learning the real me, the things that I were great at doing, the things that made me happy when I did them, simple things about myself that made me a learner, not just an earner. I learned so much when I took on a new job or a new career. In the first 2 weeks, you would learn way more than what you learned in a book. The textbook, the teacher, they do a wonderful job of preparing the brain to think about something. But executing it is so much different. When you're actually focused on professional growth, sometimes we spend too much time in the wrong area. When you're learning about yourself, it leads me to the next one here, because getting comfortable with being uncomfortable is part of that self-exploration, right? Life in school is all about finding a comfortable place, finding comfortable friends, finding things that you're good at doing. And you're uncomfortable the entire time. Nobody is comfortable in high school, yet nobody tells us it's okay to be uncomfortable. Well, life is much of the same. The more uncomfortable we are, the better off we're gonna be. The more comfortable we get with getting uncomfortable, trying new things, going to different environments, working in a different career path, trying to meet new people, networking, all these things are uncomfortable, much like high school. But when you apply them, getting comfortable with it actually gives you an advantage. You're like, okay, I'm gonna be comfortable in this really weird, odd, uncomfortable moment, but I know I'm gonna learn and I'm gonna grow and it's gonna make me better. That's not something we learn in school. We certainly learn what uncomfortable means, but we don't know how to get comfortable with it. So the next one is when you're looking for the career. Why is it that everyone wants you to go to the biggest possible company you can go to? I say start small, not big. Here's why I say that. Small companies will have you doing all kinds of different jobs. Small businesses function with sometimes too little people and too much work. Too much opportunity is not a bad thing when you're new. When you're brand new at something, you will learn so many facets of a business. You might get some accounting. You might understand how to buy things. You might understand how the office functions, personalities, all these different aspects of a small business versus just becoming a robot in the big business right out of school. So often the advice you get is go find the biggest company to build your reputation and your resume. And I would simply say if we're going on the theme of development, of learning, of earning, and really investing in ourselves, it all starts small. Small companies just have a different advantage. They give you the ability to learn things from the ground up. It's very valuable. And I'm not saying don't go to the big company because it might be the right fit for you, but don't be afraid to start small and learn all those granular grassroots things that got that big company to where it is today. The 5th lesson is task versus title. Everything you learn when you first start exploring a career is to find a title. You're gonna be a doctor, a lawyer, a finance professional. What is the title that you're aiming for? And that's really the wrong thing. we should be focused on the task. What will you be doing? Do you actually like that? Can you see yourself doing it? What is the job day in and day out? A lot of titles don't actually have in them what you're going to be doing in that beginning part of your career. You're not really probably getting to perform major surgeries as a doctor right out of the gate. You got to start somewhere. And so if we have the understanding of the task, we can really focus on, do I love those things? Can I see myself doing them? Wow, that looks like a really interesting thing to do. Number 6, the difference between cost and investment. Everything when you're young revolves around the cost of this, the cost of this trip, the cost of my education, the cost of this first home. Not enough is talked about when it comes to investment. See, investment's about a future payoff. Cost is about something I paid now and I've lost it. Once I pay for it, I've got a good and it's here in my hand and that's over, right? But investment is something that's going to pay me dividends in the future. It's going to pay me out over and over and over again. An example I often use is education. Your education is not the cost of college. Your education is an investment in your earning potential for the rest of your life. The goal is not to go to college to be in debt for the rest of your life. The goal is to go to college to make more than your debt by a significant amount so it pays off in the future. By investing in yourself, in sales skills, in networking abilities, in learning new and mastering new items or subjects, you're preparing yourself to pay great dividends. Alex Hormozi often talks and jokes about the S&P 500 not being as good as the S&Me 500.
Instead of taking the excess cash you have and putting it into the S&P 500, I want you to put it into the S&Me 500.
That's the one that's going to pay you so much more. Investing in yourself is where you're going to have the most success. Number 7, school does not teach you to focus on your strengths. It really has you focus on everything. If you are good at communication and English and the things that you loved in school, focusing on math and science, if you were never good at that, probably isn't a good idea. School has you become a master of all these things. And if you get the F we talked about earlier, then you end up feeling like a failure in life because you weren't good at math. Well, Tiger Woods is a really, really great golfer. But if he spent all of his time focusing on baseball instead of golf, he'd be wasting his time. Spending our time, our moments, our energy on the things we're great at is where you should be focused. School didn't do a good job of teaching us that. Find what you're great at, invest in it, build on it, continue to develop it, and watch how good those strengths will pay off in your life. It doesn't mean don't pay attention to weaknesses. It doesn't mean don't get stronger at things that are weak, but put the majority of your energy where you're strong, where you're best, where you see yourself succeeding, what you actually love. These are really, really important factors when you're looking for that next chapter of your career or the start of your career. So this video is not about hating on school. It's not about telling you all the things that they didn't do well. It's just about bringing to light the things I wish I knew sooner that I would have learned in school. And if you like this video, take a look at the 15 things I wish I knew sooner, because that video will also give you just a little bit more of the very things we just talked about, but you can build on that to really become the best version of yourself.